2008, two sisters decided to explore a curiosity they both shared. What if you could make a quilt with an embroidery machine? What began as a simple what if soon blossomed into a lifelong passion. Combining their unique skills, they started experimenting with quilt blocks in the hoop of their embroidery machines. Linda, a quilt shop owner, and Annie, an embroidery machine educator, soon cracked the code to making beautiful quilt in the hoop designs. What started as playful curiosity quickly has grown into a passion they couldn't wait to share with the world. Our family business has grown so much over the years. From a small room in Annie's home to our first office when even the grandkids were just as tall as the mini fridge. With the Hoop Sisters Quilt in the Hoop technique, you can make intricate looking quilts with absolute ease. We provide you with crystal clear PDF instructions and live workshops where we guide you step by step, helping you become a master quilter in no time. Not only do we provide you with written and live instructions, but we also have a lot of fun on our workshops. From exciting design reveals to multiple giveaways while attending our lives, we also give you a free gift just for registering to attend. Woohoo! Just as the grandkids are starting to grow up, our office building has grown too. We've even joined our first ever All Ohio Shop Hop in 2024. On top of that, our amazing Hoop Sisters team is continuously growing alongside the best group of quilters in our wonderful Hoop Sisters VIP Facebook group. And if you're new here, welcome to the community. We're glad to have you. Something else that has continued to grow within our business is our very own Hoop Sisters products, most especially our Battleizer and our Trimmer by George 3.0. For those of you who may not yet be familiar with our products, our Battleizer is a batting plus stabilizer all in one. It's got the batting you want for your quilt and the stability you need to stand up to the embroidery stitches. Our Trimmer by George 3.0, which has come a long way since the original Trimmer by George, is a game-changing tool that makes trimming all quilt in the hoop designs headache-free. Stick around and we'll show you how to properly use the trimmer, and we'll tell you the story behind George. Our story is just the beginning. We're passionate about inspiring more people to fall in love with their embroidery machines and create stunning quilts in the hoop. Whether you're crafting a heartfelt gift for family or a special project for your local community, we want to help you create simple treasures that will be cherished for generations. As we embark on this journey together, we are so grateful to have you by our side. We're about to go live real soon. Stick around. We can't wait to show you what your embroidery machine can really do.
Hello. Hello. Did you guys notice a quilt that she was working on in that video? I sure did. So we might have showed it yesterday, and it might be what we're talking about today too. Hello, everyone. It's good to see everyone in the comments. We've got Florida, Ohio, Illinois, Tennessee, more
New
Florida.
Zealand, South Dakota.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh, 8 a.m. in New Zealand. Hopefully you got a cup of coffee with you. But we're super excited to be back again for day 2 of the Shooting Stars workshop.
Right.
I just told Sarah, I apologize. I have coffee breath.
Don't breathe on me.
And so I'm trying to stay awake and find some energy today. I'm struggling. But but I think it'll be great because you're going to show one of our most popular game-changing tools.
That's
so that
right.
should wake me up a little bit, right?
Yep. I made Aubrey go to lunch with me, so that's why she's. I think
I feel like I didn't even eat that much, but it just like, I'm in the afternoon slump for sure. So I'm going to be drinking my coffee a lot today. So yesterday we showed you guys the new Shooting Stars design. If you were not here yesterday, give me a number 5. Give me a number 5 if you were not here yesterday. If you were here yesterday, welcome back. We're glad to have you. There's a number 5. There we go. Hello. So yesterday we revealed the new design. We did a giveaway. What are we going to do today?
So today we are going to take,
before you do that.
Okay. Yep. We're going to take that block that we stitched out in our fun, bright colors.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted you guys to be able to see that quilting really
well.
Look
at all these 5s. Welcome.
Yeah. Well, welcome to day 2 of Shooting Stars. We stitched out this block yesterday. Today, we are going to show you how to trim it with Trimmer by George, talk about what the Trimmer by George is and what makes it special. Then we're going to pin 2 blocks together and just talk about pinning and joining. We are going to show you a great pinning technique. If you've never watched our anchor point pinning technique, it's a game changer. I think it's a really, really good one. So
yeah, great day to pay attention if you are going, how the heck? So I get it. You make a block in the hoop, but how do you put it together? I think that can sometimes be one of the most daunting things.
Right.
So that's why day 2 is super duper exciting. So I know there's a lot of number 5. So before we actually dive into, the part where Sarah teaches you how to use the trimmer and the pinning and all that stuff, we just want to catch you up quickly with a little recap of what we did yesterday. So as always, the workshops are just a really great way for you to attend no matter where you are. As you just heard us reading, we have people in New Zealand. We have people who joined from Germany. We had someone else in another country yesterday. I can't remember what it was. But Poland. All over the US. So these are just fantastic ways for you to learn a new technique. And then if you choose, you can order it and actually stitch it out, which is the best part. So much fun. So it's just a free virtual hangout where we get to teach some different techniques that maybe you're not familiar with. And then, of course, we also love to do special pricing, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And anytime you see one of our workshops open registration, I highly encourage you to get on board because we have a free gift.
Yeah, get that free gift and you can get involved by stitching it out. No cost to you, which is awesome.
Yep. And this was our free gift for the Shooting Stars workshop. It's closed. Registration is closed, but the next one will open up. So I highly encourage you to jump in there. We also have local quilt shops who have this design in stock. So they're listed on the screen there. If you're near them, highly encourage you to reach out to them, get this ordered through them, get your fabric through them, support your local quilt shops. If you are not anywhere near these quilt shops, we'll also have Nina drop a link to order direct from us. So that's an option for you as well, just depending on where you're located. Okay. Speaking of Nina.
Yeah. If you have any questions, you can give Nina a call or you can email her. You can see both her phone number and her email on the screen right there. She is amazing. She knows everything. She can help you with pretty much anything. And she's waiting on you to call. Maybe wait until after the live.
Yeah.
Because I know she's really busy in the comments.
Yeah.
She's so fast at answering comments, by the way.
We're streaming more than one place. So she's more than one place. So anyway, and she just dropped your order link. So if you want to check that out. So my number 5s, where are you at? Number 5s. This is what we released yesterday.
That's right.
A part of it.
Yep. So 2 different layouts are included with Shooting Stars. So you can kind of see little
thumbnail version on your screen of the wall hanging behind us. We'll get more into this in a moment. We'll kind of show you some close-ups. In addition to the wall hanging layout, you have the secondary option to make a table runner layout. And thank you, because I was just going to say the table runner, especially in the 8-inch size, also makes a really good bed runner.
Yes.
So it is just beautiful. The quilting shows off so well in this, especially if you're using wool. If you like to use wool, I think you're going to love this.
Oh, yeah.
Because it really just makes that quilting pop. And it's just so darn pretty.
It really is. I mean, look at it. Look at it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I can definitely tell the difference in the two samples, wool, not wool.
That's right.
You don't have to use the wool, but my gosh, look at it pop on the bed there. It's so pretty.
And I even said yesterday, I love wool in this so much that I would break all the rules and I would put wool in it as a table topper still.
Which is not like Sarah at all, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, okay. Thank you, Trisha. She said, this is gorgeous and she loves the colors.
Awesome.
I really love the
you.
colors as well. I feel like it's a very elegant, just warm, pretty quilt. So,
it is.
All right. So just so you know, especially you number 5s, the quick recap here before we dive into the trimmer demo. This does come, like Sarah said, in the 2 layouts, but also 2 sizes, right?
That's right. Yep. 5 inches and 8-inch blocks.
Yep.
So.
And if you're new around here, drop a number 1, by the way. Number 1s, if you're new around here, everything that we come out with is number 1, multi-formatted. Which, what does that mean, Sarah? Multi-formatted.
So it's whatever format your sewing machine takes, that format is going to be included in those designs. We have DST, EXP, Jeff, PES, VIP, and VP3. So you get all those formats. So if you work with a Janome right now and you change to a Brother one day, you're covered still.
Yeah.
So that's great.
The other thing that we always do, which is different than a lot of places, is we include what? What do we include? You tell
that awesome quilting that you see there.
What is
so it is so pretty.
So that just means if you're new to this, you're not going to have someone long arm this afterwards. You're not going to have to buy a separate quilting file.
That's right.
What you see is what you get. And I absolutely love that. And somebody yesterday, I think it was Maggie, because Maggie's always on. I think Maggie was like, the quilting is the best. And this quilt is no different. I think there is just something super magical about kind of that grid and square mixed with the beautiful, almost feathery quilting that you put in there.
It's so pretty. I love
you
it.
know what
I
you're
love the
doing.
Combination of the 2.
I'm going to compliment you right now. Are you ready?
Oh, no, are you sure? They all can hear. They'll know.
You're amazingly talented and it is beautiful.
Oh, I'll remember that.
But I might never say it again, but I said it right now, okay? Does anyone else have sisters? Because if so, I feel like you'll understand where I'm coming from. But yeah, so just know that this includes the quilting. It's multi-formatted, has all the layouts, all the block sizes for $45. So amazing deal. It's really beautiful. Okay, let's go over the sizing real quick. We are going to get to the trimmer, guys, but I'm going to get you all recapped.
So sizing, if you're doing 5-inch blocks, you can still make a beautiful quilt. 20 inches by 30 inches is the wall hanging layout. If you do a 5-inch table runner, it's about 15 by 40 inches. If you go big and you do 8-inch, the wall hanging is 31 by 46.5, and the table runner is 23.25 by 62. So it is big, and it's awesome though. Yeah. And I see Donna said, she's over on YouTube. She said, I think this would make a gorgeous full-sized quilt. Think I may attempt that. That's awesome, Donna. So Donna, you probably know that's not going to be included in our instructions. You'll get this layout and the other layout, but it's so
you know what you're doing,
you can just keep stitching blocks and laying them out and making it a bed-size quilt if you really want to.
Absolutely. Can you make it for me? I would love this in a bed size.
There's your bed runner right there.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay. This is the last big news that we're going to share before we dive into this tutorial. And then we'll come back again for the later recap of the best deal and how to get that. But this is truly amazing. I think we've hit a number in the quantity of fabric kits that you guys should be incredibly excited about, because especially if you were a number 5, just so you know, normally we always do a limited supply, but we've keep cranking it up a little a little bit more. And today, for the first time ever, we have fabric kits still. Okay. Which I am so excited about, because it means if you didn't catch us yesterday, you can still grab this scrumptious fabric kit that is perfect for this quilt. I absolutely love the florals. In fact, Sarah's going to show the trimmer, but then I think maybe we should also pull the kit out and show those.
I want to say too, that print. So the print, and we can post this in the Hoop Sisters VIP Facebook group as well, the fabric details on this.
Yeah.
But that print that you can see right there is stunning, and it's a poppy cotton
fabric. By the way, this is also, Sarah never used to use prints.
That's right.
Can I just say?
That's right.
Never. And
That's
now
right.
we're like obsessed with these poppy cotton prints.
But poppy cotton fabric, if you guys have bought our kits before, you've probably felt it before. It just, the quality,
Put that up there.
the quality is amazing. Just how it feels. It is, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it more than just,
it's
amazing.
amazing.
It is a really good quality fabric. It's not a really thin fabric. It's beautiful and great quality. So yeah.
Do you want to talk about math? You remathed today too. I feel like that's an important discussion to have with these kits.
Let me grab these.
Do you want your camera over there? Do you want to show them right there?
We can do that. Let me move some stuff. Get out of the way. Okay. So this is the little insert that's in the Shooting Stars fabric kit. So this design, the primary design, is our wall hanging. So which fabric kit was made. Yep. The fabric kit was made with this layout in mind. The only difference between, and by the way, the fabric kit is intended for an 8-inch block. So if you're making 5-inch, you've got plenty of fabric, trust me. But the fabric kit is intended for an 8-inch wall hanging. If you want to do an 8-inch table runner, you have enough fabric, because it's the same fabric requirements for the 3 solid fabrics. The only difference was the binding fabric. On my instructions, when I figured yardage for binding fabric, it requires a 1/2 yard of fabric as opposed to a 1/3 yard of fabric to make the table runner. And I hope I'm saying this clearly, because yesterday I said, if you buy the kit and you want to make the table runner, you might be a little short on binding.
On the 8-inch.
But when we figure our binding yardage, we figure it based on you cutting your binding 2.5 inches wide. I was just kind of playing around with math a little bit, and I found out if you cut your binding fabric 2 1/4 inches wide, you still have enough binding fabric in the kit to make the table runner. So the binding fabric.
Repeat that. Say that again.
So the binding fabric can kind of be used for either layout if you cut your binding fabric 2 1/4 inches wide. You're going to have to remember that, because our instructions say 2.5 inches. But if you cut it 2 1/4 inches wide, you're still going to have plenty of binding. If you don't normally do that, don't be afraid to do it. That's actually how wide I cut mine for our samples, is 2 1/4. So you have enough binding fabric in the kit to bind the 8-inch table runner. 2 1/4 inches wide is what you want to cut it. I feel like I said that multiple times. I'm like a broken record, but I want to make sure I make sense when I say it. I'm saying it right. Aubrey would tell me if I wasn't.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And by the way, I had Annie do this math with me, because I did it.
We wanted to make sure.
Oh, that's so cool. And then I said, I need someone else to double check me.
Yep. Sarah, what major were you originally in school, in college?
I was going to be a teacher.
Of what subject?
Of math.
Oh,
yes. I still get it wrong sometimes, though, right?
So anyways, that is super exciting news. Again, I actually just, a comment flew past real quick, and I already have missed it because I've got comments coming in from multiple places. But someone said, holy cow, I can't believe those kits are still there. I checked out super quick because I know they sell out.
I know.
Yeah, it's so we keep increasing the amount. Again, there's still a limited supply. We'll probably sell out today. But
I placed 2 separate orders of fabric for this one too.
Yes,
to really get enough.
I'm
happy we did that.
Me too. And honestly, it's so great, because if you couldn't catch us live yesterday, you can still grab that kit, which is really nice. Okay. Why don't we move into the part where Sarah teaches you something. And then do stick around, because after she does her tutorial, we're going to talk about how to get the best deal, including those fabric kits. Nina hasn't texted me yet, so I'm assuming they're still there. But don't wait too long, okay? Otherwise, you might miss it. All right, Sarah, all you.
Okay, so here is our block that we stitched yesterday. Now, what we want to do is we want to be able to join this block to another block, right? And by the way, for all you number 5s or number 1s, so if you weren't here yesterday and if you're new, we stitched this right on our battleizer, which is our batting and stabilizer combination product. So just one product to hoop. But now what I need to do is I need to remove that battleizer right up to the basting stitch, because I don't want to have that bulk in my seams when I go to join it to another block. So I want to remove all of that.
Can we, I don't know if it's just me, but I want to show them, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I want to show them what block that is, because it looks so different.
It does. So this is
and this is a smaller
block.
one.
Yep, but that's okay. This is just our border block. So it's this block right here. And I wanted to stitch it with this different fabric because I really wanted the quilting that's on that border fabric to show.
Yeah.
So you can see it right there.
Okay, that was probably just me, but I wanted them to see
that's
that.
fine. Okay, so what we need to do, like I was saying, was on any side of our border block that's going to have another block stitched to it. So in this case, it's going to be the right side, the bottom, and the left side. We need to remove that bulk right up to the basting stitch. We'll talk about this next side in a minute. But so before the trimmer by George, how we would do this is we'd take an acrylic ruler, shimmy it underneath that fabric, lay it down, line it up as best we could, and then trim this away. Inevitably, what we were running into is what you can imagine. We were trimming right into our block a lot. And that is no fun, because then you have to go back to the machine and start over. There's no fixing it if you trim into your block like that and slice right through it. So what we did was we have this trimmer by George tool, which if you've ever heard the story about how this tool was created, it's a really, really sweet story. We shared it in our BQH not too long ago. But the trimmer by George tool is an acrylic ruler that has this nice crimped metal edge on the end. And what this metal edge does is it allows you to stand up the trimmer kind of on the edge, shimmy it underneath the front of the fabric. Then you can lay the tool down and it protects the fabric on the front of your block. So you're not going to slice into it. So after I lay it down, I'm going to just spot check that no fabric is sticking out. Just do a gentle tug on my battleizer to get that metal edge as close as possible to the basting stitch. And then we use a 60mm rotary cutter to trim when we're using the trimmer by George. And the reason is because that metal edge does add a little bit of height to your trimmer. So we'll just trim that away. All right. I'm going to flip this around and do the same thing on this next side. So I'll stand it on that metal edge, shimmy it underneath the fabric on the top, lay it down, make sure no fabric is peeking out, give it a gentle tug, and then trim away. Okay, I've got one more side to do this with. And again, I'm doing this on each of the sides that will have another block joined to it. So all of that bulk is now removed and it won't be in your seams once you join your blocks together.
Hey, you didn't use white fabric.
I know. Well, I almost trimmed this block live. It's like, man, when I turn it over, you can't see that the battleizer is gone. So the battleizer is out of your seam allowances. Now what I need to do is trim the fabric on the top of my block 1/4 inch from our basting stitch. And when you're trimming, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like with traditional quilting, how you might need to square up a block or trim it perfectly. Your seams, when you join your blocks, don't have to be perfect because we're operating off of the basting stitch on the block, not the raw edge of the fabric.
How cool is that?
Yeah. Okay. So I have everything trimmed except for this top part. The reason I haven't trimmed that yet is because this is going to have binding stitch to it. It's the very edge of our quilt. So we're going to keep some of that battleizer in there. This part's so easy to trim. Just flip it to the trimmer side, the acrylic ruler side, lay it down, trim 1/4 inch from the basting stitch through all layers. So we're done.
Ta-da! Look at that.
So you can see I've got my battleizer up here where my binding will be, yet it's removed from the seam allowance in the other sides.
And the directions, I feel like our directions are fantastic. I don't know if this is even in here, but we always show you with red lines and blue
I didn't print
lines.
the whole
Okay,
thing, so it's not in there.
but
Yeah.
you'll know
Yep.
how to cut it and where.
Yep, because there will be images and diagrams in there.
Mhm.
That, for instance, I don't remember which way our colors go, but it would say red along this side, and this side, and then it explains to you exactly how to cut a red side, and then blue along this side and exactly how to cut it. So it's got everything in there. One thing I wanted to talk about, after you trim, you're going to be left with pieces that are kind of similar in size or length, right? So what I would do with these pieces is I would save these scraps, because what you can do now is you can kind of butt them up right next to one another, like I've just done, and then just go over to your sewing machine, place a neutral thread in your sewing machine, and then you can just use a zigzag stitch to stitch these together. We call this Frankenbat, and once you get a piece that's large enough to put in your hoop, you can just hoop it and stitch another block right on top of it. So make sure you save those scraps. Okay, I'm moving my trash. I'm jumping into pinning and joining now.
Yep.
Okay, so now we need to pin our blocks and join them together. So obviously we've got them all trimmed. This one was trimmed, again, probably hard to see, but I removed battleizer up to the basting stitch on all sides to remove that bulk. And then I trimmed the top of the block 1/4 inch from the basting stitch. So what we'll do now, we're going to place them right sides together, and we're going to talk about pinning. Now, one thing you'll see about this before I actually start, there are truly no match points on this one aside from your corners. So you'll have your 2 corners where your basting stitches are, but these blocks don't have quilting that flows from block to block. So you only have these 2 match points. It's not like that with all of our designs. Many of our designs might have something that runs from block to block, so you'd have more. These just have 2. I think that kind of makes it easier, actually. You have less points that you have to worry about matching up. Okay, so I've got my right sides together. I know that my 2 match points are my 2 corners. So I'm going to start with a pin, and I'm going to call this my anchor pin. It's nice and bent. Don't laugh at me, because probably most of my pins are. But we're going to start with using this anchor pin to pin right through the corner at our basting stitch. And I went directly through, I think you can see that nice on the camera, directly through this block, and I'm going to do the same through the corresponding corner on the other block. So see how I placed that pin right through there? I didn't pin back down into my block quite yet. This is my anchor pin. You'll see why in a minute. I'm going to come over to my other corner, and I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, there we are. So I've got 2 anchor pins in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another pin, and I'm going to pin through my seam allowance, starting through my seam allowance, and then back down into my block. And I did this right next to my anchor pin. The anchor pin, the purpose of this is it keeps your blocks from shifting when you're pinning down and into your block. So they're staying in a nice alignment. Once I have this pin down through into my block, I can remove that anchor pin. I'm going to do the same thing over on this side, right next to my anchor pin, go through my seam allowance and then down into the block. And I can take that anchor pin out. So because this doesn't have many anchor points, if it had a few more anchor points in here, I would or match points, I should say, in here, I would use more anchor pins. This one doesn't have many, but it is an 8-inch block. So I'm going to find somewhere in the center area of my block, and I'm going to pinch that part together, and I'm going to use another anchor pin and pin right at the basting stitch through to the other block. When I do that, I'm going to kind of open up my block and make sure that I have pinned at the basting stitch of the other block. So I can see I'm through the basting stitch on both of these blocks. I'm not above or below on that second one, which is perfect. So I've got a good anchor pin. I'm going to take another one, pin through the seam allowance, and then down into my block. Then I can remove that anchor pin. Now when I go over to the machine, I'm going to start stitching right at the corner. I'll back up a stitch or two, and then I'm going to come forward. I should say corner being the basting stitch, the corner of my basting stitch, back up a stitch or two, come forward. I'm going to stitch right along my basting stitch, removing my pins as I go.
Yeah,
And
she
then,
needs some new pins, doesn't she?
they're always,
They work, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. They do. I don't know what happens to them. It's not me. It's Aubrey.
Yeah, because I use them all the time.
That's right. But that's how you're going to join your blocks together. And I promise if you give this method a try, you're going to find it really helpful. And I think it'll work great for you.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'm moving back over here to recap a couple other things. But before we dive too far into the recap, I would love to know what has been your favorite thing over our 2 days together. Maybe it's something new you learned. If so, let us know what you learned that is new that you can take forward into your quilting, or maybe it's just something that you loved about what we showed. Let us know your biggest takeaway from the 2 days that we've had together for sure. If you see comments that you want to answer, they're like,
Margaret said, can you guys do a YouTube video on the trimmer by George? Margaret, I believe there already is a how-to video with the trimmer on YouTube. So just go to our channel and search that and you'll find it.
Yes. And we can always post it too if we have a second to find it before we jump off. But okay, let's talk about getting the best deal, because we've showed you how to stitch it out. We've showed you how to trim up your blocks and pin them together so that you can get ready to what?
I'm reading some of the comments and I'm like, why are they asking me to demo how to pin the blocks together?
Oh,
no. I realize it's because you asked what was your favorite part.
Yes, that is great. And I see it too. I love seeing the pinning method again. You know, I feel like
I don't think I'm awake today.
I feel the bed runner is such a great idea. That's a great takeaway too. And I agree. It's not something that we normally do, but my gosh, it looked really good on the bed. I love that. So, okay. So appreciate that. Now we're going to talk about getting the best deal, because we've showed you what the design is, how to make it, how to trim it, all the things. And now we just want to get it in your hands so you can play with it and make it your own. And the best time to buy when we release a new pattern is during workshops. So, and some of you have been on every single one of these ever, and you've heard me say this time and time again, but there was definitely a time where we didn't put anything new on sale for like a long time. So it's a really great opportunity for you to create a little bundle, save 10%. And so that's what you can do. So we'll have Nina drop thank you. Nina dropped the trimmer how-to link. So someone was asking about that. So check that out. We'll also have her drop the order link. And so when you click on the link, whether you're in YouTube or Facebook, it'll take you to the website, and everything in that category. Is it 2 pages too? We should mention.
I believe it's just 1 page,
okay.
Actually.
So everything on that page, with a couple exceptions, is included in the create your own bundle. So that just means if you pick any 2 products, put them in your cart, you're going to save 10%. And there are, like I said, some exceptions, and that would be the wool, the strip stick, which we should probably find and talk about, because that's amazing if you're using wool. Why don't you do that? And the threads. But everything else in that category, including some other designs, the wool is available, but it is not included in the 10%. Okay, so it is something that you can put in your cart. We do have free shipping within the contiguous US if your order total hits 120. So if you put wool in there, it will count towards that free shipping. Okay. The other thing I should mention is that this price savings ends tonight at midnight. So it's all automatic at the cart level, no coupon code needed, but you only have till midnight. We're running out of time. And the fabric kits are still available, which is super exciting. I feel like we've hit the sweet spot in the number of kits. So go and take advantage of that. And I do see Sarah has the strip stick. So we'll talk about the strip stick real quick, because this is really cool if you're using wool.
Yeah, so the strip stick, this is kind of reminds me of like a wood dowel that's cut in half. So there's a flat side, and then you have this rounded side. So how you'd use it is you'll lay it on the flat side, you'll take your blocks that are already joined together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the seam right over my strip stick. And what that does is it kind of elevates that seam so I can then gently press the seam without flattening wool. Because if you stitch something and you put wool in all your blocks, which by the way, I've done this before, it's a little upsetting, but if you put wool in all your blocks and you're not using a strip stick and you just lay it flat and iron press the whole thing, you flatten that wool, so you lose the effect of it completely. So the strip stick preserves that wool and the dimension that it adds in there.
Before we found the strip stick, this is not a Hoop Sisters product. We just carry it because it's amazing. But before we used the strip stick, these girls were using a rolling pin, and that sucker was
hey, it works.
Rolling around.
It does work. But yeah, that flat side makes it a little bit nicer.
Yeah. So the strip stick, again, is really cool if you're using the wool. It'll really help you so that you're not ironing that wool flat. And then it's like, what's the point of even putting it in there, right? Okay. So I see lots of comments and I'm getting distracted, but maybe you could just double check them. So workshop pricing, I want to cover that real quick. Again, to do the create your own bundle, you only have to put 2 products in there to get that 10% off. I put 3 in my example because I feel like the battleizer, the design, and the fabric kit just go beautiful together. But you don't have to put all those. You could just do 2 and get the 10% off. So you'd save there. And then again, over $120 at the cart level after the discounts are already taken off. If it's a $120, the free shipping will apply in your cart automatically as well within the contiguous US. So 2 really great deals going on right now that are ending at midnight. Okay. Anything you want to talk about real quick since you're looking over there?
I saw Ellen on Facebook asked if, and I know Nina already answered this. I just want to read it just in case anyone else has the same question. If you already ordered, can you add to that order? You can't add to an order, but if you want to get more, you can give Nina a call. If your order hasn't shipped yet, then we can ship them together. If it's already shipped, then we would just have to place a separate order and it would ship separately as well.
Yeah. So give her a call. She'll work it out so that we get you taken care of. Okay. So also just wanted to touch base on the tools because we are going to, in the instructions, when you get this and you open it up. By the way, I just heard today or this week, someone thought they didn't have the instructions because they plugged it right into their machine.
Oh no.
So if you're new around here, if you order a USB, it's going to have the design files, all the formats, all the sizes, and your instructions. So the instructions you'll want to get by putting it in your computer. So in case somebody didn't know that, I learned today that that's not obvious. So I'm just telling everyone. So anyways, the top of the screen there, the battleizer, the 2 different kinds of scissors, the trimmer, those are all Hoop Sisters products, and they're all included in the Create Your Own bundle. So just know that. The things on the bottom are not Hoop Sisters products, and they're excluded from the 10% off, but they're awesome. We recommend them and we use them. So that'd be the monopoly thread, the Vanish Light, definitely the wool with this one, and then the strip stick as well.
Glenda over on YouTube asked, sorry, not to pivot over to the.
No, you're good.
Just before I lose it, Glenda over on YouTube asked, what are the fabric requirements for the table runner? So Glenda, fabric requirements will be included in the instructions for both layouts, both sizes of blocks. If you want to see the insert that we have for the fabric kit, it has yardage on there. You can find that over in the Facebook VIP group.
Yeah, and I think Nina just put that in there because I hadn't done it yet. Okay. There's some starred questions too, I noticed.
I starred a couple. Let me go check.
Okay.
We answered this. Okay. Pamela over on YouTube says, do you use regular thread when you stitch battleizer pieces together? Yeah, I still use the same embroidery thread that I use when I'm stitching in the hoop. That's what I use when I do it.
Okay. We're going to do this giveaway. But before I do, if anyone else wants to play, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, doesn't matter, type the keyword fabric in the comments. It will put you into our drawing for $50 in store credit, which is fantastic. And then again, I just wanted to flash Nina's contact information up on the screen.
And then after the live, you can always feel free to give her a call and add to your order or whatever you need to do. She can give you a hand, okay? If you have additional questions, after we do the giveaway, type them in so I don't lose them. And then we will answer any questions. We'll do a little bit of a Q&A for you. Okay, let's go ahead and share my screen. All right, there are more than this watching. Come on, guys, type fabric real quick. Anybody else? Anybody else? There goes one. All right, let's do this. $50 in store credit. That's pretty awesome. I don't even want to add up all the $50 in store credit we've given away.
It's fun to do, though.
All right, Bev B over on YouTube. Congratulations,
Bev.
Woohoo! You are the winner. In fact, Nina told us yesterday that the winner called and was super excited yesterday. So we love to hear that. All right, Bev, you are going to want to go ahead and email Nina so that she knows what account to put that $50 in store credit. And you have 5 days to do so. And then you can go shopping. You can get whatever you want. So pretty cool. All right. Does anybody have any questions that we should answer?
That's me. I love that.
Cute. Well, congratulations, dear. That's always fun. Very exciting to win for sure. Okay. Let's see if there's any other questions that pop in here. All right. I don't think so. So here's what we're going to do. I'll ask Nina to drop the order link one more time before we jump off here. And then you guys can go pick what you want in your bundle. Oh, there's a question. What is the difference between the two threads, Sarah?
I'm not sure what threads you're referring to.
I think monopoly and
we use a polyester thread when we are stitching our blocks in the hoop. I use the same thread to join our blocks. We also use a water-soluble thread when we are constructing our blocks. But when it comes to final construction, you'd want to stick with like a polyester thread as well as we use monopoly. I'm not sure what specifically you're talking about with the two threads, though.
I think the Vanish and the monopoly, if I had to guess, because we just went over them.
Kathy said, is there a bonus with this design? No, Kathy, there's no bonus with this design, but you do get that free shipping at $120 and the promotion for today. I say, oh, Kathy, because Aubrey started that one, and I think she's going to give me a hard time for not making a bonus.
Do you guys like the bonuses? Don't care about the bonuses? Let us know. Okay. How do you finish the seam at the back? Do you want to talk about that? And she was talking about mono and Vanish, which I think you kind of answered, right?
Yeah, so monopoly thread you're going to use during final construction. It's not a water soluble. It's gonna be in your quilt. Water soluble thread you're going to use for basting stitches, things like that. When you're actually constructing your block in the hoop, do not use water soluble thread when you're assembling your quilt together.
Oh, I'm just going to start a couple of these.
I bet they do, don't they?
And Marianne loved the bonus, but still ordered.
Sharon. I'll let you take Sharon's question.
Sharon. Okay. Sharon, you're not going to believe this, but we don't actually stock wool. We have wool that we're using for projects. And I don't have the USB here in Lima either, unfortunately. So definitely order it and we'll ship it from the warehouse in Woodstock, Illinois. Now, having said that, next week I am going to have Annie bring a couple other things back. But for this time around, I don't have it in stock. So I'd rather have you order and get the deal. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it. What else? Let's see. Okay.
I think we're good.
I think we did it. All right, you all. And I will say midnight is coming. So make sure if you want to get the 10% off and the free shipping, both of those things are going to expire tonight at midnight. No coupon code needed. So go shopping and get a hold of us. If you have any questions, we're here to help. All right. Thanks, Sarah.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye.